Let's go ahead and set up the turret similar to like we did with the hero. So on the turret side, what we're going to do is we're going to look for the magic orbs hitting it, and then we'll subtract it, and if it loses enough, then we'll actually just destroy the object so it disappears from the scene. So let's go ahead and go back into our script. So the turret, we're going to need to place in a public integer, and we'll call this one health. And again, we'll set this one to 100 as well. Maybe have a boss fight type where you want to set it to 1000 or something. But for starters, we'll get it going with 100 health. And then let's go ahead and just drop down below. And we want to set it up the same way like we did the other one, which means we just want to do that standard get the health and based it off of a on trigger, and if the trigger actually is hit with the right one, then subtract it. So let's go ahead and start in with our void on trigger enter, and it's just going to be checking for that collider other. Now, one of the things to remember is just in terms of trying to learn coding, if you've been doing coding for a while, try to do like pause and try to do some of these just on your own. Don't feel like you have to follow along. See if you can get to the same answer relatively the same way. If it's new to you, just feel free just to keep following along. So we're going to do on trigger enter. So it's going to be similar to like we did before. We're going to do a check. We're going to say if other name is going to be equal to, and this time it's going to be the magic orb. So if the other name is equal to it, then what we want to do is get the same thing. We want to get the hit point value of the magic orb. So if you remember, in our magic orb, we have a hit point value of 10. So on the turret, we're just going to say an integer HP is going to equal our other get component, and the get component that we're looking for is our magic orb, and we're going to get its public hit point value. We're assigning that to the hit point, and then very similar to like we did before, let's make another method, and we'll just call this one our get health, and we'll pass in a hit point. And then for this one, we want to do the same thing. We want to check for health and make sure that it's greater than 0, and if it is greater than 0, then we want to actually subtract. If it's not greater than 0, if it actually is less than 0, then let's go ahead and take the object and destroy it. So we'll go ahead and write this in. We'll just say destroy this game object. Alright, so our health, what we want to do is just say health is going to be minus equal to the HP. Alright. And then up above, just like we did before, we just want to say get health and pass in the HP integer value. Okay, so every time it gets hit, it's going to continue subtracting down until it finally gets to the point where it's going to get destroyed. So let's go ahead and go back into here. And then we'll hit play, and then let's go ahead and try it out and see how it looks. So every time I hit this object, my value is going to go down. So we'll notice health is at 90. Now health is at 80. And if we go all the way down with it here, and then one more hit takes it to 0, and then final hit destroys it, then I can move on to the next turret if I had multiple inside the scene. Alright, now one of the things that may be more useful for the players, that once you start shooting back and forth, you want a little bit more feedback as to who's getting hit and did I get hit. So the next thing we'll work on is a little bit more visual cues for actually getting hit.